Alright guys, so I have a brand new Piggy Theory on Budgey. And this time I think it's a pretty good theory. But before we get into it, I want to make sure you guys like, subscribe for more Piggy Theories. I'm trying to make one about the decay chapter. So let's just get right into it. So we know Budgey as the captain of the Medora, alright? And she makes her first appearance in the port chapter, where she comes to pick us up on the Medora. So, before I get into all the evidence, I'm going to tell you what I think Budgey's backstory is. Because this theory is about her backstory, as you probably saw from either the title or the thumbnail. So, I think before Budgey came to pick us up, like way before that, some infected got onto her boats, alright? That's how her crew got infected. Her crew got infected through, it has to be through another infected, because they did not drink the potion. Maybe it was through a sea animal like Craxicordy. Maybe it was from Dakota, like a land animal. We don't know, but all we know is that they are infected, except for Budgey. So I think most of us know that the swimming pool incident was a fake, right? So, and Budgey just got scratched by an infected and cut her arm off. So a good theory could be that she cut her arm off, which is why she's the only one that's not infected, alright? But I also have another theory that TIO, yes, the Insequatus one, I don't really know his name, but TIO, Mr. Dude Man, if that's what you still call him. Like, this is 2024, guys. Stop calling him Dude Man. So Dude Man visits Budgey, and we know Budgey is not an actual captain. She's not even the owner of the Medora, as we know through the Pig 64 leaks where we can see the actual owner of the Medora. So Budgey is not actually a captain. She's pretending to be one. So TIO comes up to her and gives her an offer to not get infected. She cuts her arm off, and TIO's offer is that Budgey will have to help him stop us, the player safe place group, from getting the cure. And Budgey goes like, "Oh, what is that? How would I do that?" So TIO tells her a plan, alright? And I'm gonna tell you that plan later. So, but for now, Budgey comes to pick us up, because TIO tells her to help stop us. And I'm not sure if they've been communicating for a while now, TIO and Budgey, if Budgey's been part of TIO's group for a long time, but I'm not sure. Alright, so now, but so we know that Budgey regrets having the crew infected. There's a note on the ship map that says, "I'm sorry," and signed by the captain, Budgey. So I think that note is saying that she feels bad for infecting her crew members. Let me explain. So I have another theory, or another way we could go about this, is that Budgey actually infected her crew members so that she wouldn't get infected, which is why she's sorry. And it could potentially be a better explanation for why they're infected, since they don't really dock the ship that much, and which is how they got infected on a isolated vehicle. So either way, they're infected. Budgey is sorry for them. But so Budgey joins TIO, and she kind of feels bad now that she got her crew infected. So, and once she hears that TIO tells her to stop this group of survivors who's looking for a cure, this is where she starts to fight back. She lets us onto her ship, and TIO says, "Hey Budgey, how about you trap them and get them infected? Alright? How about you trap them, set them up to be infected, to get the gas. That's why when we try to go get the gas, we don't actually need it, alright?" But let me get into that part, alright? So Budgey starts to fight back. Like, she's kind of mad at TIO for doing these kind of evil things, because TIO's the bad guy. So she wants to help us. She's trying to help us. Now, I'm assuming that Budgey, I know I said I don't know how long that they've been in communication, but I'm going to assume it's pretty long. I think TIO gave her some insolence powers that she can, like, control the infected just like him. Kind of like how he gave Mr. Stitchy some powers. If Mr. Stitchy is even canon. But yeah, he gave Budgey some sort of insolence powers, alright? So we go, she tells us we have to get the fuel like TIO told her. Alright, so TIO told Budgey, you should get them to go into the ship with the infected. Okay? And she does. She says that because she doesn't want to be too blatant that she's helping us. She's still scared of TIO. She just kind of wants to help us. So we go get the fuel, and I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but at the end cutscene of the Survivor ending, we can see an infected coming towards us while Willow and the player are inside the crate, and the crate suddenly just closes. Now, I believe that Budgey is doing this, and she is helping us by closing that gate so we wouldn't be infected, and hoping that TIO won't notice. Now, yeah, so far this is kind of like a long stretch, but I do have evidence I will present. All right. So, and then once Mimi opens that crate thing with all the fuel, she says there were no infected. We found no signs of infected anywhere, and we know by going through the ship map that there are infected. I know people talk about this quite a lot, and it's obviously an important detail. Like, Minitoon's not just gonna mess up that bad, where the whole crew or the whole Safe Place gang says there's no infected. Like, if he messes up, like, he would say, like, he wouldn't even mention that. Like, so it has to be important in some way. So I think Budgey is trying to help us. She helped us by, she helped us by closing that door on the infected so Willow wouldn't get infected, and us, and she removed all the other infected so that Mimi and the group can find their way towards us. Now, why didn't she just open or close the gate and then remove the infected and then open it? That would be a little bit too weird, man. Like, we're not that stupid. We are humans, animals with brains. That would be a little bit too over the line, suspicious. And while we're all down there, I'm not entirely sure about this part. Budgey could have maybe drove the boat to Doveport or something. I'm not entirely sure about that. But we didn't use the fuel. She lied about that we need the fuel so that she would somewhat please TIO. And if we ever got into a sticky situation where we might get infected, she would try to help us, at least somewhat. Alright? And after she lets us go in Doveport, she visits TIO inside the mine. And I'm not sure what happens from there. But so let's hear this out. So my thesis is that Budgey, well, yeah, she was part of the insolence, part of TIO, but she wasn't. She tried to help us, the Survivor group. Alright, so let me explain. Let me give some evidence, alright? Now, this might seem kind of like a stretch. Like, there's no way this would happen. This is crazy. But I actually have quite a bit of evidence. I provided the notes saying I'm sorry. I provided the Pig 64 thing. I provided the gates closing, the crate closing, the removal of the infected. I provided the evidence of how her crew got infected. We don't actually know how they got infected. I mean, that kind of bothers me because they're not going to just dock the ship and get infected and go back on the ship. So yeah, but I do have a little bit more evidence. So one is pretty obvious. Most people know. How did Budgey get from the control panel of controlling the ship down to the deck where she met us for the first time? I have two possible solutions for this. One is that Budgey can, like, control the ship with her mind. That's how when everyone was down in the crate room, that's how she got us to Doveport. But that kind of seems like a stretch, right? So I have a likelier option where TIO kind of like made her immune to the infection, where the infected won't attack her. Because why would TIO want his friend to be infected, like his helper in crime, like Mr. Stitchy? Why would he want them to be infected? That would not make sense. Second one is that the Mr. Stitchy notes in the map says she knows. This would also explain what she knows means. Like, she knows about the insolence. She knows about their deeds. She knows about the insolence and Mr. TIO's intentions. Alright, so that's like the seventh piece of evidence I have. The eighth one I have now is like, the eighth one is the radio message, right? I'm not going to go deep into Zizzy will never speak, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, the insolence is broadcasting through Budgey's radio. So, but why would Budgey, like, have their radio on? Like, why would Budgey want to connect with the insolence at all? So, if she was, like, a helper for TIO, that would make more sense of why, the radio would be from the insolence and to Budgey. So that's like an eighth piece of evidence. Another one's, I mean, that's kind of it. I mean, the dots kind of line up pretty well. I mean, 8 pieces of evidence is kind of a lot. But, so yeah, that's the video. Budgey helped TIO, but started feeling bad for her sins and tried to fight back against TIO by helping us get the cure and ultimately defeating her. Now, if TIO did go up to Budgey at the end of, after she dropped the stuff at Doveport, and made her infected, well, your sacrifice will ever be in our hearts or something. Goodbye, Budgey. Hopefully you show up again soon. But this would also kind of go into like the Medora spin-off that we could be getting. Minitoon said he would be open to making a Medora spin-off. This could be what it's about. This could be what it is about. Like TIO manipulating Budgey's mind after we dropped her off, after she dropped us off, or before like when her crew got infected. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and be sure to join me in the next video. Bye.